A very good afternoon, everyone. With immense pleasure, I, Khushbu Khowal, welcome you all to the Philomaths, a knowledge sharing session at the Department of Finance and Business Economics, University of Delhi. Founded in 1973, the department is center of excellence, conferring quality education to the students. MBA in Business Economics provides the students an opportunity to learn managerial concepts from an eclectic blend of faculty, academicians, and researchers. And this is the reason why DFBE today possesses an illustrious alumni base of over 1,000 individuals who have made their mark in various capacities in the corporate as well as academic worlds. The corporate communications cell of the department aspires to invite industry leaders under its guest lecture series, Philomaths, to culminate an interesting discussion between the students and industry magnates across a range of business topics. Today we have with us Dr. Amresh Sinha as a guest speaker for a webinar on the data-driven decisions. Dr. Amresh Sinha is an industry recognized veteran with more than 50 years of experience. He is an expert in software design and development for e-commerce and mobile development, product management, web integration, and enterprise architecture. Currently, he holds the post of Vice President of Engineering at Make My Trip after working in a variety of directorial and managerial roles in the same company and also others like Sheros and Tevin Technologies. We look forward to an informative and insightful session, sir. The stage is all yours.
Thank you, Kusbu. Just let me share.
So you're not audible.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Now we can hear you.
Okay, great. So I think sorry for the glitches. It was microphone in my phone itself. So here it is. And this session we are going to have data-driven decision. And as I mentioned, I'm not going to make it more serious and boring for you. Probably some informative and some interactive this session it will be. So small introduction from my side. I think Khushbu has already given the introduction. And just to add there, I'm, I'm still a software engineer. I have started my career from a software engineer and designations has been changed with years and with time. But still I continue to work as a software engineer and so first of all, we need to understand what is data. As I'm sure you must be aware that data is an information, piece of information. And everywhere, data is available everywhere. It's just a matter of collecting data, whether we are collecting the data or not. When you think of any product, there would be user interaction with that product, and there will be some user events. And those user interaction and user events will inform many data. It's us who take decision that whether we want to collect those data or we want to collect some part of that data. So that's up to us. In my opinion, all data is relevant because relevancy comes with a factor of time also. So the data which is not relevant at this point of time doesn't ensure that it will not be relevant for future also. So we should collect all the data which is available to us. And obviously, if we are taking user related data, we should take the consent of user and all. So when I started in 2007 or 8, then we barely stored data in MakeMyTrip related to user events. We mostly store data towards like transactional data and also the user related data like what's name, first name, last name, email ID, and so on. But later on, we realized the pain of it. We realized that we are not able to do any kind of personalization. We are not able to do any kind of uh, any personalized offer or cross-selling to user because we don't have any past history of the data which can say that what decision we should take. So from there we have started collecting data, and now we are collecting almost every possible data, available data which is there on the platform. And it's related to user or user event. When it's related to user, it's always with the user's consent. So the crisp here is that only if you have data, then you can take help of it for any kind of projection, prediction, or even in troubleshooting. Probably it might look weird to you that how troubleshooting can get help from data, but I can share you some incident where we have used data only for doing troubleshooting. And some kind of, let's say, recently we have done some troubleshooting where we were getting very high number of data when their notification was triggering, and we were not able to get it that why that user data is coming so high volume when we are triggering that notification recently. So we digged into the deep into the data, and then we found that the logging of notification was not correct. Because of that our dashboard report was not coming correctly. So those kind of troubleshooting will also require data. So data is in nowadays king. Without data you can't do anything. So when you are going to in any, if some of you will go to good brand, some of you will like to go for your own startup or entrepreneurship. So whenever you are thinking of a product or any solution, think also that what data you will be collecting in that product or from that solution. So that's how its data is important. So the next question is, why data driven decision? So that question also will come to your mind, that why we need data driven decision. So the question that is, what's the alternate? So the alternate here is always, we traditionally we are engineered to take decision basis on knowledge and experience. So when you take decision basis on knowledge and experience, and there is no backing of history of data, probably the impact of that decision won't be so high. But if you have the data behind your decision, the impact of your decision will be always high. For example, for a manufacturing company, if you don't know that what volume of manufacturing will be required, and you are just going with your experience or your knowledge that okay, this is like January 1st, so we should produce, last year we have produced X number of products, so this year also we will, and year on year growth is let's say Y%, so we will require X plus X into Y% of product. But is that the correct way of taking decision? probably there would be multiple signals, multiple factors into taking that decision, not only the last year number of products which we have manufactured or we got ordered. So because of that, it becomes very important that whatever decision we are taking, it should be backed with the data. So to do that, there is a process, and there is a process of making decision basis on data driven. And I might sound weird when I'm saying that there is a process of data driven decision, but in my next few slides, I will show you how this process works and why I'm saying that there's a process of data driven decision. So any process or anything will start with your problem statement, right? So when you have a defined problem statement, well-defined problem statement, that what is the problem? Remember in my last use case where I told you that we were troubleshooting for the wrong reporting which we were getting at the time of notification. So that was the problem statement. And that problem statement was very well defined, that we have that report working earlier. Now the report is giving wrong data. Why it is giving wrong data? Why there is so much high spike on the notification time whereas we were always sending notification in past also, but we were not having seen that kind of a spike. So that was a well-defined problem statement. So in this process, you should focus on the problem, that what the problem is, and you should be able to break down the problem into sub problems also. If the problem is very complex, you should break down into sub problem, and it is very much similar to any kind of problem solving, whether it is a mathematics problem or whether it's a decision making problem. So it's a very much same process. First of all, we need to understand the problem. If you can recall your school days, then you can think that if you will not be able to understand the problem, you will either end up with wrong solution or you will not be able to find the solution. So that's how important the problem statement here is also. We need to understand the problem, and we need, in this stage, we need to focus on problem, not on its solution. So again, the one thing which always generally people do wrong is they jump into the conclusion, they jump to the solution, they try to jump to the solution very fast without understanding the problem. So don't do that. First understand the problem, what its impact is, and then if it is a very complex problem, try to break it down into sub problems. So that's the step one of your process when you are taking any data driven decision, or I will say any decision. Next, once you know the problem, you should know the tangible success metrics. And in past, we have, and at least I have done so many projects where we didn't have very well defined tangible success metrics. We have the problem, but we don't have well defined success metrics. So because of that, or with the lacking of defined success metrics, you cannot say that whether the solution you have provided or the decision you have provided is solving holistically the problem or not, because you don't know that what you wanted to achieve from the solution. So it's very, very important that you define at the first level what the tangible success metrics would be, or acceptable success metrics would be. So from here, I would like to give you one use case, and I will share one use case from my experience and recent one experience, and we'd like to show how we have solved this with using that data-driven decision. So in our use case, we have recently given that we need to increase the conversion of one product in one channel of our product in MakeMyTrip. So that was the problem statement which was given. And the success matrix was also given that we need to improve it by n% of the conversion. So currently if it is x%, it should be x plus n% in the from the solution. So that was the problem statement, that we need to increase the conversion. The success matrix was also well defined, that how much we need to increase the conversion. So next it was up to us to how to solve that. So next step is define your plan of action. When you are defining your plan of action, then you should also take care of what resources you have available and what resources you will like to have. For example, for the problem which you are solving or for decision which you want to take, if you don't have data, first you need to collect that data. So keep that step also into your plan, that you need to collect data first, because without data you cannot take any decision basis on data. So what to do, and then if you define the plan of action, what you need to do to solve this, so you are one half of the battle. So in our use case, we have planned that we will find out the cohort where the conversion has higher dip, or the cohort in which we have lesser conversion. So that's the plan which we have defined. And because in MakeMyTrip we already have data, so we don't need to bother about the data and the quality of data, collection of data and cleaning the data. Those things we don't need to worry about. So those were not part of the plan. But if you have been given a problem or a decision to make and you don't have data, please remember to put collection of data and quality of data also in your plan of action. So once you define the plan of action and discussed with the team, it is also very important that you discuss your plan with your team. So the reason why it is important, that it is always a teamwork. It's never a individual work. It's always a teamwork. Probably some key signals which you might not be aware of, someone else will put you there, that okay, did you think about this, or have you thought of this, or we have done this in past but we have this much experience from the past experiment. So that's why it is also important that you collaborate your plan with your team and you explain what are you going to the team well, so that once everyone is on the same page, everyone would be working on the same direction. Once you have the plan, then this is the first step, collecting data. And as a data analyst, there's nothing to say that data is the key for any data analyst. And there could be multiple sources for your data. Some sources could be database, transactional database or user database. Some sources would be API, like Google API or Firebase API, which provides you data related to user or user action. Some sources could be flat files like big data, Hadoop and all. So that you need to collect data from all the sources. So you should know all the sources where the data is, and you should collect data from all those sources. Then once you have that data, so probably that data will be in different shape and in different places. You need to create a data pipeline, which we say ETL pipeline also sometime, so that you can normalize and standardize the data into single form. I will explain why normalize and standardizing data is important. And then once you have the normalized data, you can aggregate data and then you can store it into aggregated form. So what is the difference between the data and the aggregated data is, let's say you have data that all of the users who are searching in Make My Trip for a particular city. So you have user level data. Every user, there is one record. If you are familiar with Excel, so think like every user is a one row. But will it help you in deciding multiple factors? Because you will not like to go for million users to ask that, and you don't like to go for millions of rows to get your decisions. So then you need to aggregate data. What kind of data aggregation you need, that is up to you. So we aggregate data basis on the logged in state of the user. So there would be a bunch of users who are logged in, there would be a bunch of users who are logged out. Now we can track the behaviors of these two. And if, let's say, person X belongs to logged in cohort and person Y also belongs to logged in cohort, then the probability of pattern matching of X and Y would be higher than someone, Mr. Z, who is not logged in, who is not in the same cohort. So defining that cohort or segments are the aggregation of data. Aggregation of data is not the decision, but it is fuel to the decision. Data is the raw fuel, you can think of this. Aggregated data is the filtered fuel, which you can use into your engine to make your decision. So once you have the collection of data, then you will find that the data is messy. And believe me, whenever you will look into the raw data, you will always say that, okay, oh my God, this is so much messy. Because that raw data is coming from different sources, different tools, different portals, and you need to work on all of those data which are coming from different sources. So quality of data is very important. When you will be doing some aggregation, think of it like you have millions of records in your Excel sheet, but some of the records have data in column A, some of the records have data in column B, and so on. Will you be able to infer any decision basis on those kind of data? I don't think so. So that's why cleaning the data is very, very critical. And you need to spend good amount of time in cleaning the data. Cleaning the data can happen at two places. One, from on the source itself. So when you are collecting data from any source, you can clean that data at that place and you can get the clean data into your system. But some data you cannot clean at source because those sources are not in your controlled environment. So for those data, you have to use your ETL pipeline or data pipeline to clean your data. And then you will have one single storage of data which has all similar looking of data. They don't have any discrepancy in data. So this process requires normalization and standardization of data. You will find some date formats. In some source, date format is coming into YYY From other source, the date is coming as DDMMYY. So you cannot infer decision on such kind of data. You have to standardize their data. And then at last, you need to validate also. For validating, probably you will not be able to validate millions of data, but you need to check good sample of data, whether they are cleaned or not. So that's the quality of data and how it is important. You should understand that why it is important. Without quality of data, you will not be able to infer any decision, whether it is aggregation or anything. So next comes is the data visualization. This is also like very, very important. So you have the data, but you don't have the visualization what data is or what the data is predicting or what the data patterns is. So you need clear visualization of your data. For that, you can create dashboards, reports, views, and you can slice your data as per your need. In our use case where we were asked to increase the conversion, and we have decided the plan of action that we will go to the cohorts and we will find all those cohorts which are having the lesser conversion. So what we did in this case, we used this data visualization tool and we sliced the data into multiple factors, and then we saw that which cohort is having lesser conversion. And for that, we got to like 100 of cohorts. We created 100 of cohorts to find out those, because it's not so easy. If you think of Make My Trip, what Make My Trip is doing, users are going and searching and booking. Now you need to find out how you will slice the data to find different set of users from that users and user action. So that is very, very important. So to do that, we did many slice and dice of data, like we search that whether the logged in user, what is the conversion rate of logged in user, what is the conversion rate of logged out user. Then we went furthermore that what if user is searching for one adult, then what is the conversion, two adult, what is the conversion, and then combining with login logout state, then the loyalty state. So we did that, and then we find couple of cohorts where actually the conversion was very, very low. So the next solution for that was to replicate those cohorts into our controlled environment and to find the actual problem why users are not making booking there. So then we replicated that cohort and we find some discovery issue in those cohorts, and fixing those discovery issues, we achieved our target of increasing the conversion. So that's a small use case from my experience, which I wanted to share with you. And that's how we usually use to make decisions basis on data. So next is like rule-based versus data-driven decisions. So once you have data, so you don't start ML and AI straightforward from day one, because there are thumb rules for using ML and AI and rule-based decision. When you have data, but you have lesser number of signals or lesser number of parameters on which you want to make decision, then you should go with rule-based. But when your parameter or signals are thousands of signals which are making impact in your decision, then there is the only solution for that is the machine learning or artificial intelligence, because there you need to have multiple arm bandwidth algorithm, different algorithm to solve your problem. To give you example here, when we have started in Make My Trip for personalization, we also started with some rule-based decisions, because at that point of time we don't have so much data, we don't have so much signals, but we wanted to do personalization, and we don't want to wait till we get the data and we deep dive into it and then we will understand and we apply the machine learning algorithm and all. So what we did is we created simple rule-based algorithm for the personalization. And in Make My Trip, we use personalization at many places. It starts from your homepage experience to your search listing, what hotels should come at which rank, and also in your homepage, what cross sell or what product we should offer you to purchase, or what offer you should go for. So those kind of this personalization we used to do, but in early days we don't have so much data. So what we have started with rule-based decision. We created rule for personalization, we created rules for ranking, and we started from there. And there is no harm to start 0 to 0.1 and 0.2, because I come from a mathematics background, so please forgive me if I'm using too much of numbers. But in my opinion, if you are at zero level, you should start with your rule-based decision and obviously with some data and some signals from data. But in parallel, you should also collect data in such a way that in future you can make it data-driven decision. So we started our personalization basis on rule. Now we have moved all our personalization basis on data, and it decides by the machine learning algorithms that what all offers we should show you, what all products we should offer you on homepage. Similarly, on the hotel search page, we show that what hotels should come first at, or what hotels should come at second level basis on your past experience or your cohort. So for example, if you have booked 5-star hotel in Goa and now you are going to Kurg, so all you will get the 5-star hotels on top of your search listing. But if I have booked a 3-star hotel in Delhi and I'm going to Bangalore, I will get 3-star hotels and ranking of hotel search. So those kind of personalization we do basis on data and machine learning. The next and the last slide is the experiment. Experiment, in my opinion, is the strongest tool in your hand. If you don't know what to do experiment. And when you are doing experiment, you have all those flexibility to experiment with 1% of user, 2% of user, 5% of user, or 50% of user. And you can gradually increase the number of users onto your experiment. So if you have doubt in your mind that what should work and what will not work, in my opinion, you should always go for experiments. Again, here in experiments also, we take use of machine learning and data to decide which experiment should move ahead. It is not manual, but yes, we started with manual increase, and now since we have data and we have machine learning and trained model, we have moved the experiment also into the data-driven decisions. So that's how in Make My Trip, we all leverage the data-driven decision and we take data-driven decision. And there are immense story behind this decisions and data-driven decision, which I can tell you. And there are more failures in my career where I have not taken decisions basis on data. So there were failure and there's no harm in accepting that. But once we started taking projects and doing projects and taking decisions basis on data, it impact always higher. So that's it from my side. And now I will be like to open it for Q&A. If you have any questions in your mind, I will be happy to answer your questions.
So there's a question in the chat box. I can read it out.
Yeah.
Simran is asking that can you elaborate on what kind of rule-based decisions that were taken by the Make My Trip to beat stiff competition?
Yeah, so I explained, I think that personalization, ranking, experiments, those are like rule-based decisions which we have started years ahead, years before. And now we have moved all those rule-based decisions to data-driven decision. So did that answer your question, Simran?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Next question is from Kunal.
Hello, sir. My name is Kunal. So I wanted to know, sir, how much personal judgment should be involved while taking decisions based on data, or should it just be completely data based?
So in my opinion, it should be completely data-based, but usually in practical scenario, it doesn't happen. We are human beings and we are engineered to bias with our experience and knowledge. And that's our like positive point also, that some data might be not true. Some data story might not be true. For example, this is the very good situation to discuss this because we all are going through a pandemic. So what data was saying in 1 year back might not be true for now. So, and we only know that. That's data doesn't know at the beginning of pandemic, right? So data will say that, okay, year on year growth was 20% or 16%. So this year also you should take target for 26%. Will you take that target? I'm sure not, because you know that there is pandemic going on and businesses are impacted, right? So always there would be personal judgment, but how much it depends upon time and also the problem statement which you are solving. If the problem statement is very, very quantitative and the scenarios are very, very similar, probably pure database decision will work better. But usually this doesn't happen because change of time is the nature. And with change of time, we always need to change decisions. It cannot be linear.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Gautam Grover. And my question is, what challenges might be there to convince the management to take decisions based on data, especially when they are of a conflicting opinion of what data suggests?
So, in my opinion, and this is something which we face like every day or every here and there. So, in scenarios, only data can help you. And the projection and prediction basis on data, if you show, no one can deny that data, no one can deny your projection, and hence be able to convince for your decisions. But first, you need to be convinced with your decision.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hello, sir. This is Ronjika from First Year. Sir, my question is regarding the competition in markets. Since we don't have data that our rival in the same market may have, how can we take suitable decisions which will put our brand or our company at an edge as respect to our competitors?
Yeah. So this is again a wrong perception, Rajnika, which I will like to differ from it, that you don't have data for competitor. As I stated in my very first slide, that data is everywhere. Can't you get data from logging into your competitor application and going through that how good or bad they are? Can't you check their user interface and our user interface, their user experience, our user experience? Can't you infer that what kind of user experience they are giving, where they are better or not, right? Again, there are ample of data available on internet nowadays. So there's not that there's not no data available. There is some data available. There is not all data available for your competitor, but with those some data and with your experience. So here your experience counts. You you know that you don't have more data about your competitor, so you need to log in or going into the application of your competitor, looking into them, what feature they are building, what feature we have, what user experience they have, where they are on top of us or where we are on top of them. So all those data you can also collect. So collection of data is not easy. It is not always handy.
So there's a question in the
Okay,
chat
sir.
box.
I got it. Thank you.
So Keshav is asking how much does a inclination inclination or a bias towards a certain decision hurts the data-driven process?
So I don't think so. In a corporate world, everyone is working for same intention. So there is no hurt the data-driven process or certain decision which can hurt the data-driven. It's us. We take decision that what decision we need to take, whether we are going with the data-driven decision or we are going with our experience or knowledge-based decision. So it is us who need to convince everyone that okay, we need to take this decision and why not we should go with this. Once we have that ample data, then only we can take data-driven process. If we don't have data, then we can't. But if you have data, then data itself will convince other to go for data-driven process.
So Pari is asking that as we have ample amount of data from different sources, and what do you suggest for making decisions? Which strategy we should use, test and try, or the traditional one, which is trial and error?
Okay, so both can work. It depends upon what time it will take. So in most of the cases, like test and try, it is very useful when you have very less time to market. But if you have good amount of time to market, you can go with the traditional one, trial and error. But in data driven world, you actually don't know which will work. So you need to do experiments. So I will like to go for test and try and fail fast. The best way of learning new things is failing fast. The best way of learning new things is learning how not to do that thing.
Thank you, sir.
What is mean junior years? Sorry, I couldn't make it out.
So Mohit is asking, does data-driven decision hinders creative decision making of the employees and managers? Also, does it reduces risk-taking appetite of the management?
No, not at all. So data-driven decisions reduces your risk, but it cannot eliminate the risk. And that's why we always prefer to do experiments. Even your data-driven decision can tell you multiple options, but which option among those options should work or will work, you will only get to know through experiments. So you should go for experiments. And your first question, not at all, not at all. So basically you are trying to say that with data driven decisions, we will become more linear in decisions, and it will hinder the creativity of decision making of employees and managers. So not at all, because ultimately data is only giving you some signals. Basis on signals, what you need to do, that decision anyways humans are doing. That is not being done by data. Data is not coming out from database and saying, hey, go and open a new soap for this. This is not coming out from data. Data will only say that, okay, in this area, people used to go 4 kilometers to buy beauty products. So probably then you will think, okay, probably opening a beauty product in this area will be a good good way to do business, right? But data is only giving you signals. It is not giving you the decision. Decision you are taking basis on data. Kusma, sorry, I just wanted to understand what this means junior year. Mohit has written Mohit
It's
from
the
junior
first
year.
year.
Okay.
So Sahil is asking that how much does the role of data analytics play in Make My Trip and outperforming its competitors and staying connected to its consumers in the age of digital transformation?
So I cannot tell about the competitors, but in Make My Trip, the role of data analytics is very, very critical. It takes all decision is been the role of data analytics in all of the decision is very key. So they play a key role in making any decision for any product in Make My Trip. I hope that I answered your question, Sahil.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
So Shubham Dalal is asking what are the most common errors of or pitfalls that businesses encounter when they try to implement data-driven decisions?
The most common error, there are two common errors I can think of right now. One is not a good quality data and making decision basis on bad quality data. And the other common error is people generally go for strong decision basis on data, on single one decision that, okay, now data is saying this, let's do this. Whereas we have seen in past and from my experience also that experiments gives always a good learning to our data driven decisions, and from those data driven decisions we get best out of the options which we get from the data driven decisions.
Thank you, sir.
So Abhishek Chaudhary is asking, is data cleaning the most time-consuming phase in preparation of data?
Yes and no. Yes, if you are not cleaning data at the time of collection, and no, if you are cleaning data at the time of collection itself. So if you are cleaning data at the time of collection in the source itself, you don't need to worry about time on the cleaning of data. But if you are not cleaning on the source, then yes, you need to spend a lot of time to clean it. And it's a painful exercise.
So due to paucity of time, we can take two more questions.
Hello, sir. This is Gurkirat Singh from the junior batch. So I wanted to ask, should organizations be taxed for the data that they collect from the users?
Sorry, I couldn't get you.
Am I audible? So I wanted to ask that should organizations be taxed for the data that they collect from the users?
Tax.
Yes, sir.
Can you elaborate further?
So should the government of India start implementing and utilizing alternate forms of taxation? Like, for example, should organizations and firms, should they be taxed for the data that they collect from the users? Like Google and like organizations like Google, Facebook, they collect large amount of data from the users. Should it be taxed? That's what I'm asking basically.
That I will leave up to the government of India to decide. I will not like to bias their decision. So, but that's pure government policy. What they will do.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir. This is Gautam again. So my question is, the data collection process itself is done by humans and can be affected by their bias or judgments. So can any way be done that the human element can be removed from it, or at least the bias or judgment part can be removed?
Sorry, so I missed your first line. The data collection is done by whom?
Sir, in many cases, still the data collection process is done by humans or is prone to the judgment of humans or bias of humans. So, can any steps be taken to remove that judgment or that bias, or remove the human element from it altogether?
Yes, yes and no. So yes, in case it is feasible, we should. But if it is not that that data is so biased or bad. I give you some example here. So we collect user feedback when user travel through us. We ask them to give some feedback basis on their experience. Few people gives and few people don't gives. It happens with any product company. But in hotel, we found that in hotel register, users usually give their feedback, written feedback in their register. In some hotel, in old hotels or old city hotels, people go and give their feedback. So is there any reason not to accept that as a data? I don't think so. But can we automate that? Yes, we can. So we also need to understand that we are living in a era where everyone is not very tech savvy. So probably my father will like to give feedback written instead of filling into a form. So we cannot eliminate the human angle 100%.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a pleasure indeed to hear all your views and ideas on the topic. The discussion was immensely valuable, and we learned about the importance of data collection because every decision we should take be backed up by data to achieve maximum success. We also learned about some of the processes involved behind data driven decisions, like defining a proper plan of action, determining acceptable success metrics, and focusing on the problem rather than solution. The most important aspect, though, is the quality of data we are collecting. We should take care to allocate proper time and resources to cleaning the data and creating a data pipeline. I, Khushbu Khowal, on behalf of DFPE, extend a hearty vote of thanks to our speaker for taking his valuable time out and sharing his experiences and opinions today with us. It was truly an honor. Thank you, sir.
Thank you everyone. Thank you for listening me with patience and wish you all the best in your career. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sir.